Hey fellas, this is Vince Miller. I'm excited you're joining us today. Today we are going to be looking at how to build an effective ministry to men. Now, before we dive in, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button below so you can get notified when new videos come out in the series. Occasionally, I am putting out videos that equip men just like you who are leading men in a church. So if you want to get informed, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Secondly, head over to the website today, our website, which is beresolute.org, and do a couple of things for me while you're over there. First, sign up for the Men's Daily Devotional. I write the Men's Daily Devotional fresh every day for guys just like you. Check it out. It's short, sweet, and to the point. If you love it, share it with your guys. And I promise you, I write it fresh every single day. Secondly, while you're over there, maybe you want to check out, having me come to speak to maybe your men's group or your conference or your event. I would love to be there for you. You can reach out to me through the website, and you can do that at any time. My email address is vince@beresolute.org. With that, let's dive into our topic for today, which is how to build an effective ministry to men. So guys, I get this question all the time, and I'll get calls here at the office or men setting up meetings with me, just trying to figure out how they can rejuvenate or bring back to life a ministry to men that's dying in their church, or maybe start one for the very first time. And I'm going to keep this very simple and short for you today. Only two things that you need to do. Number one, gather a small group of men. That's it. Just gather a small group of men. We tend to overthink this principle. It's relatively simple. In fact, when my wife encouraged me to start Resolute as a ministry, she looked at me one day and said, "Vince, why don't you just take that small group you have of men and turn it into a ministry?" I'll never forget that moment. I looked back at her and I said, "Honey, you're crazy." That's what I said to her. And then she looked back at me and said, "Vincent Lee Miller, you do not call me crazy. I believe God is calling you to start a ministry to men, and you're going to do it through that group right there." Well, she was right. No kidding. Whatever God was saying through her to me was spot on. And guess what? It created an explosion of ministry that I can't even describe to you. Within 9 months, we had gone from one tiny little group to over 450 men in over 40 groups. Now, I wish I could explain to you how that happened, but honestly, it was just because of that first small group that happened. It was me investing my life into 12 other guys, which, by the way, is so basic and biblical. I don't know why we blow past the fact that Jesus did that exact same thing. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? Jesus just took 12 guys under his wing, and he created a worldwide movement out of that. Don't overthink that, right? It's the greatest pyramid marketing scheme of all time. And you're watching this video because of what Jesus did 2,000 years ago, right? So I'm going to encourage you today to do that one thing. If you're ready to begin a men's ministry in your church or rejuvenate one, well, then gather a group of guys and go get them. Invite them to come. Be a part of what you're doing. And then bring a Bible and bring a study guide or get a book of some kind that discusses what's going on in the Bible and open it up and do it with these guys and see if God doesn't do something great. You know who it starts with? It starts with you. As I travel across the United States, I will tell you there is this rogue men's movement happening across our planet. And it is guided by guys just like you that step into a bold and daring calling to say, I'm just going to lead a few guys. Ministries start that way. Churches explode that way. And I am daring you to get out there and do it. And by the way, you don't need your pastor's permission to do that. You can just start doing it today by gathering guys around you that you already know that want to know more about Jesus Christ. It's as simple as that. If you are indwelled by the Holy Spirit, that's good enough. And you may feel imperfect, but guess what? Every one of those first disciples were imperfect in their own way, and so are you. But they did something. They felt called to act, and in that calling to act, they started a worldwide movement that we're experiencing still today. The second thing is this: at some point, you're going to have to create an event. You have to create an event. This little small group that you've developed right here, call it a leadership group, call it a discipleship group, call it a small group, call it a core group, doesn't really matter. It's a group of guys that you've gathered together just like Jesus. This discipleship, leadership, core, small group then needs to plan some event that they do where they can invite other guys to come. You know, men don't exactly gather like women do. You get an event for women and thousands of women show up. But for men, you got to plan something because men like to do things together. And those are great opportunities to invite other men into your group or other groups out there as well. And fellas, this is exactly how movements begin. The things that I speak at across this country in are things like that you would hold at your church, like a men's breakfast or a men's barbecue or a conference or an event or an evening gathering or an inspiration night or a fall kickoff. They're events because men think that way. And so you need to think a little bit that way too. Don't put too much structure around it. Don't overdo it. Just plan one event a year. Maybe two at most. And do these small groups where you develop men, but use these events to build exposure, to invite new men, and then just repeat year over year. And it's not going to happen fast. I can't promise it's going to happen exactly like it happened for me, but it might. It might. But you know what it begins with? A guy like you just doing something. Gathering a small group of guys and then holding an event and then just repeat over and over and over again. Fellas, I know you probably have more questions. I'm not going to answer all your questions today, but I'm willing to. I'm willing to take some time to meet with you, to talk to you by phone, maybe to address your issues by email. All you have to do is set up a meeting with me. I'll talk to you about anything. And my phone is available. It's going to be me, not somebody else, because I love you and I want you to be successful. We need men leading other men because, to be honest, that's exactly why I'm doing this message. One man invested in me, and therefore I'm investing in you. So let's do this together. If you need to reach out to me, send me an email. Here's my personal email address. It's vince@beresolute.org. vince@beresolute.org. Send me an email today. I will set up a meeting with you. We'll find a time to talk and we'll see if we can't take it next level. All right? I love you guys. Remember, live all in for him who lived all in for you.